Good morning, welcome back to Arco. Charlie Bosco and Mike Langley here. We had a day off from talking to you yesterday. Certainly wasn't a day off for the coaches, athletes and officials. But, Mike and I topped up our swimming time and we're back with you for the men's Youth A bouldering semi-final. Artemy Derbyshev of Russia, first climber out, and we're going right to left today. We've got 3 semi-finals coming up today. This is the first one, and then we'll have 2 running concurrently later on. Mike, tricky little start for the climbers here. Black volumes, bit of squirming, bit of jimmying as we described it the other day.
Yeah, the new word jimmying that's going to make its way into the climbing book of jargon. Yeah, right to left, as you say, Charlie. First one, sort of super techie on volumes, really bad footholds, smearing, kind of a bit more of a technical challenge. The boulders, we'll start to see them as they develop across the wall, but the full challenge is here, really technical, powerful, dynamic, a little bit of a jump in there as well, bit of feet first. These Youth A boulders in the semi-final round have got a hard challenge ahead of them, and to be honest, we've seen really hard semi-finals all week here in Arco.
We've seen hard boulders, really, haven't we? We had a few more tops in the male juniors at the end of Wednesday's action, but generally the boulders have been pretty tough.
Artemy into the undercut zone hold here. It's a really good undercut volume, but the feet are pretty bad. You can see him just trying to put the force through the feet and going up to a decent but hard to catch side pull, just because how quickly you're moving off the smears on the volumes there. And the top hold is a blocked crimp, so it's like a slot, letterbox slot at the top.
It's kind of hard to tell from this angle, but the wall is slightly overhanging there, so that's why he's having to move quickly. It looks vertical, but you can kind of just about tell from that angle. It does lean back towards him.
What the route setters really like about these volumes is it really makes you put power through your feet. It's all about the contact, the friction contact between the hands and pushing through the feet. Artemy does a little right foot on just on that starting volume, which is really bad actually. The brush is moving in on it there. If it's bad now, I wonder what it's going to be like when 20 climbers have been through it. 21 climbers have actually got in today's semi-final. And yeah, the volume is a staple diet of the route setters these days. I was watching actually a bit of Arco footage in an ice cream shop in Arco last night. 2014 Arco Rockmasters. Just happened to be on the TV in the ice cream shop, which that doesn't happen in too many towns. And I was just kind of analysing the route setting there compared to what we see in the modern style. And obviously there's a lot more different holds, and it kind of looks a bit different. But the triangular volume was still being used back then, and it's certainly not going anywhere anytime soon. It was actually a really large group of locals just hanging out in front of the TV, watching archive footage of climbing competitions. So, I mean, what a town!
Yeah, they've had plenty of climbing to watch in the last few weeks. So it's a little more recent than 2014. Maybe they preferred it before we were there. Yeah,
there was a few local faces and some of the coaches are still going strong. It was interesting because they were doing all the crowd shots and everything, and you could see some of the familiar faces still going strong 5 years later. This is better. Quite a number of attempts just to get re-established through that starting position. Can he slow it down up to this side pull this time?
Could just do taking the edge off the speed. You can't really go statically, but just if you could just slow it down ever so slightly, it might make the difference. He can go with the right hand. The problem is he then needs to free up the right to get the top. A couple of little bits of admin to get out of the way. Sadly, we do not have a feed for the official clock, and also we've had a couple of questions about this. Just to remind you, if you didn't see our footage from earlier in the week, the zone hold is marked with the forbidden word bonus. I don't know why the zone hold is incorrectly labelled as a bonus, but you might see on a few close-ups. But just ignore it. The one word we're not allowed to use, and they put it midway up every boulder. There we go, that's live. So it's the zone hold, but it's not labelled as a zone, it's labelled as a bonus. Kalin Anash of Romania out next. Here he is. So usual World Cup / World Championship format, 5 minutes on, 5 minutes off. Climbers this time going from right to left. So after Kalin has climbed, we will have Leto Cave of the Netherlands, and then Artemy will come back out onto number 2. And the stage will slowly fill up over the first 20 minutes.
See that little dual texture pinch for his left hand there. He's not quite happy with the positioning of the thumb catch on there. When route setters do build a sort of pair of screw-ons next to each other across the angle change of volume, the thumb positioning is usually so crucial, and an adult's thumb is very different in terms of where it positions on the volume to a child's thumb. Not that it's barely called them children anymore. I'm sure they'll be offended by that.
No, these are Youth A Boulder climbers, so they're born in 2002 or 2003, which makes them
very tall.
16 or 17.
Yeah, look at the size of him. He's bigger than us, Charlie.
It's not too difficult to be bigger than me. Jane Kim's bigger than me. But yeah, there are a few of these junior climbers where I do hope the officials check their passport very thoroughly.
Yeah, I wonder if there's an ID check on the way in.
It's hard enough to get in the parking zone for us, so I should hope it's hard enough to enter the competition.
That first move, they're just struggling to go slowly through to that crossover crimp.
Oh, look at that. Nice shoulder rub.
I wonder how many euros it is for a little massage. You can just see on the far right of the screen and the yellow volumes to the left, those they're sort of half boulders that aren't for this round, and they are to be used later on in the day. Quick rotations between all the different categories here. So if you are confused as to why the climbers aren't over there, that is for later on.
Yeah, we've got 2 semi-finals running concurrently later on. So the route setters just don't have time, basically, to completely strip the wall, completely fire 8 new boulders up. So they'll kind of leave the remnants of boulders where possible, as you can see.
I'm wondering with this starting move, it's obviously really difficult to weight the right foot, whether we'll see some of the guys just tap that right foot and bring the right foot back down before crossing over. Just might improve the body position slightly. See how far through to the left that first move is. Just as he rolls over, needs to get a bit of speed to go through, and the foot pops as he goes through.
And has had enough. As I say, we don't have it. Oh, I thought he was collecting his score. No, he's collecting the brush.
You confused me there because you thought you had enough, so I assumed you had enough. I thought, that's nice of him. He's giving the boulder a little brush on his way off. Good climbing etiquette, but no, he's carrying on.
Yeah, this is one of the downsides of not having the clock. I've just heard the beep for 1 minute, so we do know roughly how much time we've got. Because I've got a little clock on my arm, but it's not the official one. I think you're right, Mike. I think the climbers could do is just bringing the feet down.
Yeah, I do wonder if the body position works for that. Just drop that right foot maybe, but handholds are really bad, and if you're a little bit short of that crossover method, wouldn't work with low feet, but we'll see. So many climbers to go through these boulders. I'm sure we'll see lots of different methods starting to develop. Frustrating when you've done a move and you can't repeat it. You do the move early on in the boulder and you can't get back to the position where you fell off.
Now he takes his scorecard and doesn't leave with giving it a brush. Leto now will scurry on to number 1. Artemi will go on to number 2. Just looking out across the field. Field beginning to fill up here in Arco. Not that keen on early starts, it would seem, much of the crowd here. Number 2. Oh, I like making predictions.
Come on then.
I think this is the hardest boulder.
Yeah, starting move is 2 undercut little crimps and then a crazy sort of 3D section, and maybe going feet first on men's number 2. Leto just getting through that first move importantly, but just finding the difficulties in the midsection.
Again, by the way, if you are very eagle-eyed, you will notice that Leto's number is completely out of keeping with the numbering system. Apparently he lost his previous bib number. Earlier in the week we had who was it? Someone washed their someone washed their bib.
Someone had a dog edit.
Yeah, along with their homework, and yes, so Leto apparently lost his bib, so he is assigned a new one.
Just starting with the right foot high first, but not. That looks like a much better body position. Good thinking. Control the bad right foot and then just tap the left foot.
He's a lot smaller as well. Probably a little easier to kind of get the right foot up.
Yeah, good, clever climbing through these volumes so far for Leto. Under wrapping the right hand and easily up to that side pull. Doesn't like it though. It's a pretty bad hold.
I don't really see, if you go with your right, how you'd then free yourself up. I think you surely have to go with the left.
Yeah, he's going to go left, but just needs to find a better position for his right foot. Had it high up on the triangle. This is a really hard last move.
Let's have a look at this number 2. Yeah, yeah. Why not make predictions? I think it's probably the hardest boulder, from what we could tell, having not tested. Oh, in fact, I'll give up the disclaimers. I've said it now.
It's too late.
Too late.
The word is out there.
Doesn't matter why I think it is. I just think it is. I'm pleased to see he didn't flash it anyway. It really would have.
Yeah, that would have been a nail in the coffin for your career. The 2 undercut dual texture screw-ons to start, then up with his right hand to this pocket, which is really hard to go slowly to. It's a really deep 2-finger pocket, but then spinning it all around and sort of getting really funky with this next set of volumes. And after that, there's not much to the top of the hole, so it's easy to see why you might suggest it's pretty hard.
I think that's why we have you on the stream, Mike. Sort of the people get a bit of a technical insight, swing it all around and get funky.
Yeah, so that could be describing Strictly Come Dancing.
You've missed your calling. It still exists, Strictly Come Dancing.
I don't know. Luckily, in my life, I've never watched a single episode of that, but I heard it's a thing.
Never missed an episode, I think is what you mean.
Yeah, this is better, really established on that pinch.
It's better from Leto, yeah.
Yeah, built the feet up really nicely there. Right toe eventually ended up back on that little screw on that you wanted it on earlier, but importantly, the left foot was high.
Artemi again can't quite make that move stick. Speaking of Strictly Come Dancing, I was on a flight once from Manchester in the United Kingdom to Belfast, and the entire cast and crew of Strictly Come Dancing appeared to be the only other passengers, and I was completely oblivious to this fact.
when
they all swanned on, expecting to looked at me as if to say, "You better recognise me," and I just said, "Right, morning.
Hi.
Is this your seat?"
Literally couldn't.
And my wife was elbowing me and going, "Strictly Come Dancing." Yeah, completely passed me by. Apparently there's a chap called Craig there and an Italian bloke, and
unless it's Adam Ondra or Yanni Gambrit, I'm not interested.
Yeah, I shared a plane with Adam Ondra back from China this year, and I know who I was more impressed by, him or Craig from Strictly. Anyway,
I do hope someone takes sound bites out of this ridiculous chat about Strictly Come Dancing.
Go on, Leto. Oh, I thought we could see our first top there. It's this early in the morning. We've got lots of action coming up today. Semi-finals, first climbers out. Yeah, we're just riffing, just riffing. But yeah, in a strong field, that could be my worst chat.
Can you imagine the amount of glitter that was left on the seats on that flight?
God,
The amount
of ego.
Spray tan.
Yeah, I was certainly the palest person on that flight, that's for sure. Usually am. No, in fact, if you're flying from Manchester to Belfast, it's quite something to be the palest person on the flight. Yoav Arieli of Israel now. Kalina Nash of Romania comes back out. Leto might be somewhat frustrated with his start. I think he was pretty close on number 1.
Yeah, just that sort of blocked crimp at the top did its job perfectly in terms of making climbers have to go really slowly to that last hold that's in now on this first boulder. you have nicely established on the zone volume there. Putting in a pretty hard fight on it there. You can see just puffing the cheeks a little bit. The body position's not great. Back's right out from the wall.
Gosh, I think we could be seeing a lot of climbers in that position. It's tricky as well with the bonus zone thing. It's like that challenge where they write the word red in yellow and you have to say the colour, not the word. Anyway.
Maybe we should just go back to bonus for the next couple of days.
Well, you know where the job office is. Oh, that looks a little bit easier if you're tall. You somehow got to match that. You've got to be careful not to touch down as well.
That's nice.
Full really nice work.
360 off the pocket.
Right foot's on the low friction bit of that hold though.
Now, big mantle section still to come. That is the most awful hold to try and heel hook on, really.
Yeah.
Optimistic heel hook there. Just got to mount up now. You can see the pocket at the top is to the final hold. Yeah, classic little kind of swing through off the 2-finger pocket. The full campus Rose move. Rose is short for Rose and the Vampire, a very famous route in Buix in France, where the name for that move came from. 2-finger pocket, big cross through.
Have you done it?
No, I would love to though. It was yeah, it's an absolutely brilliant move.
What is it? 8B?
8B plus, yeah. Right hand in the pocket, left outside foot, swing the right leg into the air and cross under you.
Have you had a look at? Have you had a go on it?
No.
Oh right.
Never been to Buix, but
all right.
That move has been recreated so many times though.
You sounded like you knew it even better than me just from having seen it on videos and things.
Done it in my mind. That's 50% of the battle.
Done all sorts in my mind, not in reality. I think we'll park that one right there.
No comment. Fierce move to that 2-finger pocket.
Yeah, again, hey, more predictions. I think it'll be pretty tricky move to imagine doing after several good attempts. I think you got to get it done early, or you're going to struggle.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's quite it's a really powerful move to a 2-finger pocket, and usually in route setting, we wouldn't bring sort of 2-finger pockets into the game until probably about this age. But even then, you could argue it's a little bit risky. Generally, I mean, it's neither here nor there really in terms of like arguments as to if people think it's a good idea or a bad idea. But it's really a lot of force going through 2 fingers. And generally in the younger categories, route setting, we wouldn't use 2-finger pockets. We certainly wouldn't use 1-finger pockets, but we wouldn't use that really for any categories in a competition. I'm sure somebody has, of course, but yeah, generally we're trying to avoid the 2-finger pockets until they get a little bit older.
He's looking tired. Elliot Barnabé of France, fifth climber, excuse me, to try number 1, and then Leto is back out onto number 2, and Artemi is climbing on number 3.
First look at men's number 3, then starts on that black and yellow volumes in the white panels. 2 hands on the sloping yellow hold, right hand up, and a bit of a release potentially into that bigger yellow volume for the left hand, and then squirming up the corner to finish. Let's have a look, see how this boulder develops then. Jump into the double toe hooks to start, nice first move, and then the classic release and jump, plant the foot out. Leto just trying to sort out that first move on men's number 2 from the Netherlands as well, just off to his right. That was nice. Left foot first that time. Elliot Barnaby from France. He has a good close-up at those first couple of holds. Yeah, it's a full coordination move that on men's number 3. Got to release the foot across and the hand across at the same time. And this starting move to the pocket is a really fierce move up to that 2-finger right-hand Gaston pocket. His undercuts are obviously bad enough to not really be able to establish them on properly. As you release your right hand, you've got to fire it into that pocket. So it's a low percentage move and super powerful men's number 2. Back to men's number 1. I think a couple of climbers get up to this point, but this roll up to this edge pretty hard. Left foot is going to be really hard to bring up from that position. Now he brings up left foot before bringing up the right foot. Powerful move, super powerful on that side pull crimp.
Brush only just long enough. Hope they can reach the top hold with that thing. Leto just having a look at number 2. I think I fear for Leto it might be slightly easier if you're taller, just to initially to get going. Here's Artemi on number 3. He's kind of got the beginning to get the timing right on that one. Just keep an eye on the score, by the way. As it stands, Artemi's score does not appear to be popping up for me. Going to check my phone, see if that yields any results. Nothing on the computer. Oh, okay, how strange. Let's stick with Artemi anyway on number 3, and hopefully his score will appear before too long. If it doesn't appear in the next 10 minutes or so, I'll go and find an official and see if I can find out what's going on. This looks pretty happy, pretty hopeful. Still needs to somehow stay in control. He can't lunge for this one. Got to release that right hand slowly. Now he just comes up short. You can see shaking a little bit before he went. You've got to go really in control. And that is that. Nathaniel Surma now of the United States. Yoav comes back out. Biobi on number 2. Callan now trying on number 3. Nathaniel taking his time to check this one out before committing. Boulder feels very toppable. It certainly does not mean we will be getting a top though. can't get the left foot up. I think whoever finds a stable position there will find a top as well. Yoav trying the cross-through move. Nathaniel back on number 1. Here he is. So no problem up to the zone, and I have to say, looking in pretty solid at this stage. Yeah, I just can't find a way to free it up. Could be about to see a top here. Yes, we are about to see a top. Not sure he really matched that. In fact, I'm absolutely certain he never really matched it. Got the left hand, slapped it repeatedly with the right. No doubt he was controlled, but be interested to see if there's an appeal there, because there was definitely no point at which he was holding it with both hands. Hopefully we can see a replay, you'll see what I mean. That's a little issue with the bib. So let's have I haven't had that much of a look at number 3. So we've got a top then. Let's have another look now. Mike, see what you make of this.
Well, firstly, that's super impressive to get to the position of topping the.
Yeah, that is not in question.
Double campus, nice little toe hook through that section as well. Let's have a look as he gets established on this upper volume then.
So bear in mind, you've got a match with both hands. Left hand's there. I'm just putting it out there.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because everyone knows that he's in control on that last hold.
Yeah.
We should have a look at the exact wording of the rule. I think it's both hands in control.
I'm just putting it out there. Little debate to be had.
Well, it's good to have these technical debates, because that's, we do see climbers many times tapping the hold like that with their other hand, but normally before they guarantee they've got the match, so they hold it with both hands in control, and then they bang the hold.
Thies van Crenes now of Belgium. Artemi will give us our first look at number 4. Again, pretty sure this is a jump, certainly set as a jump, and he attempts it as a jump. Leto having a look at number 3 now. That gazebo just unfortunately placed for the sake of our camera. Elliot Barnaby now. Here we go, Mike, I found it. 8.17B. I wanted to get the exact wording. Judge successful where the competitor is in a controlled position with both hands matched on the top hold. Or standing on top of the boulder, which I'm trying to remember if we've seen a boulder where that's the case anytime recently.
That's a pretty old school bit of writing there on that one anyway, but still in theory possible, I suppose. But
in each case, the boulder judge has raised a hand and announced OK. Well, it's one of those tricky situations. It's very clear he did the boulder, but it can be very clear when you've scored a goal in football, but the ball's still got to cross the line. Or when you should score a goal, is what I mean.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. You would have thought maybe a competition that had more riding on it than the semi-final stage of this one anyway, that they're potentially, maybe you could argue that might come up a thing. But yeah, I mean, take nothing away from him. He absolutely bossed the boulder. Extraordinary strength through that lower part. Elliot Barnaby now getting established as a super cool boulder, men's number 2. He's pushing it out, and surely from this point his left foot's shaking quite a lot on that bad left foothold. Now gets it done. Still shaking a little bit, just got to control the top hold. Gets it done. There's clearly control on both hands there. Yeah, just to continue that, I think the idea of controlled position, what is deemed as control, that's the biggest issue we've always got, is what does a judge deem as control? If you're slapping it with at one hand continuously, you could argue you're in complete control of your body at that stage, because you're just there smacking the hold. You're not falling off the hold, you're just tapping it. Oh yeah, it's just into the minutiae of the rules there. Already does come back out after that top. He'll start on number 3. Louison Bertin starts for France and men's number 1. See what he can make of this techie set of undercut volumes. From Romania finishes his competition on this men's number 4. Sort of little triple catch, really big right foot, slightly overhanging section of wall though, so he's got to go with some speed. Not as good as they may initially appear, those sloping volumes. 3 of them identical ones in a line there, in a cluster. There's 2 tops in this round so far, both of them coming on that second boulder. Charlie's predictions looking in danger. Slightly different starting sequence there for you, Aureli, just to get himself comfortable on the toe hooks. Not enjoying that right hand sloper at the moment. We've seen in the previous effort just matching lower down on the starting hold rather than using that top yellow hold. It's a really nice start to the competition here on men's number 1. Super technical, really nice bit of technical body positioning. Really is relevant exactly where you place your feet and in what sequence. Such a strenuous position is the right hand in that undercut wrap on men's number 1, the left hand and the vertical side pull high. Nathaniel gets the spin done. So really camping this entire sequence. This is nice, could be having our first stop on men's number 4. Oh, just falls going to the slot. Another slot to finish here. We've seen so many of those this weekend. I say this weekend, it's not the weekend. Such as all the days that have blurred into one slightly here at this Youth World Championships. Charlie and I, many of the officials, the IFSC broadcasting team come straight from the Senior World Championships in Japan, straight to this event. Been spoiled with so many days of excellent climbing. So many amazing storylines. This is that first move that Nathaniel gets done. He's just got to get this big release, the swing through. Quick tap match with the left hand in there, but everything's on the right hand, 2 fingers. Again, just hits the slot with the right hand, doesn't hit it with quite enough conviction. Lubertin now. This time he's got the foot sequence a bit better. Can he stand up into this top hold? Doesn't. Really awkward body position on that last move where you're really sort of curled up in the spine. You've got to unravel and hit that top slot all in one move. Kalinanesh does walk off so close to the top of men's number 4. That does end his rotation in this semi-finals. Leto Cave starts down number 4 as Paul Jempft of France comes out. Saw him earlier on in the week in the Roots. 3rd French climber out on the stage already in this semi-final. 21 climbers in this male Youth A Boulder semi-final. See Paul just crimping the left hand of those little pinch sequence. Opting not to use the thumb catch, but just crimping it. Haven't seen anybody successfully through on that little jump yet. It just seems Elliot just pulled up with a little bit of cramp there potentially, so I'm just flicking out his right leg at the start, and then when he comes off, just not completely happy with his leg. Leto Cave just trying to get the right sequence, the foot sequence through on that Little jumpy number on number 4. Classic sort of just parkour boulder.
So much for my prediction about number 2.
Yeah, that's not less said about that the better potentially, but there we are. But it's, I mean, it's such a brutal boulder, but these young lads really seem to be enjoying the powerful nature of it.
Lesser men would be discouraged, but I will continue to make my predictions, and I'll continue to be wrong, and I'll continue to revel in everyone's laughter. Mike, we're still no sign of Artemis' score. It's slightly strange.
Okay. Should we make a run for it at some point and just ask what's going on there? Good support here for Paul Gempt as he gets established. You can see that top slot just at the far right of your screen there. Such a bad left hand. It's a combination of Seipel plus thumb catch.
Two French climbers out. That was Elliot Barnabator. We cut across.
Full one-hander lock.
Yeah, got a fierce amount of power.
Paul Gempt this time trying to use that right thumb catch. Seems that Roussettes have put that in a slightly awkward position just to make that rollover move a little bit harder. A fast first move.
Paul, yeah, it was going well in the lead earlier on in the week. Let's have a look at Leto.
Just doesn't seem to have completely got the rotation of the body just quite right yet. Actually sort of really almost vertical slopers. Somewhere between undercut and vertical, those slopey volumes. Really bad dishes. Let's have another closer look at him. Ah, that's better.
That's much more like it.
Kept the body a bit squarer to the wall. As he hit that first hold, managed to pull in, but it's all about this last move. This could be the first top on men's number 4. Goes quick double. Nicely done.
Nicely done. Very nice work. Looks like that is about to be that. There's the scene here in Arco, wall being kept mercifully out the sun. So are we actually, but I can even in the shade feel the temperature really beginning to rise as Vladimir Zakharov begins his semi-final. There he is, closest to the camera. Louison Bertin of France also back out. Nathaniel Surma, Yoav Arieli. No sign of Artemis' score still. Where on earth is Artemis' score? So, still no tops on this number 1. Nathaniel Soma having a look at what is clearly a very powerful number 3. Just seen a top at number 4, so we, yeah, top at number 1 or 3 would be good. Yoav trying to figure out how to kind of fire himself out rightwards. This looks hopeful on number 2. I think that was a big shout from the crowd in response to this. Yoav getting the move outright done on number 4, gets another move outright done. Can't quite bring it home, but we have seen that boulder topped. So, attempting this super powerful move again, you can see it's so hard to swing underneath like that. Especially on only a 2-finger pocket. Mike, you're back. Do you bring good news?
Yeah, they were just having a little little cafe, having a little relax, and no, they said they're on the case. They're doing it now.
Good, it is back up. One word from you, and they jump to attention. I like it.
Should have seen them down there. They were terrified down there. As soon as they see one of the commentators coming towards them, they know something big's happening.
They know something massive is happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually learned something down the front there. Actually, it was quite good. Just to get out of the booth here and go straight up to the front of the wall. Just to keep an eye on the Russian here, Vladimir. Getting on that top move. Yeah, a quote from the MC that you may or may not have heard over the sort of microphones here is, on all these boulders, the one thing you have to do is remember to just go and let it flow. Let's start using that one, I think. I like that.
Go and let it flow.
Yeah.
I like it. They definitely got the top that time.
Yeah, I could certainly hear that one. Superb top to finish the round. Well, he's had a good couple of boulders, really. 2 tops for him. 2 tops in 8 attempts. I just feel like when the MC started that sentence, he didn't quite know where he was going with it, and then just found some words that rhymed with go.
I know that feeling. Semenov Chinnikov, seen him in a few senior events as well. See there, Elliot Barnabé about to finish his rotation on number 4. 5 minutes left of his semi-final. See the bowlers quite close together there. That's number 3. Keep an eye. If you're climbing on number 3, you've got to keep an eye out for climbers flying over from the left. Here's Paul Jemft. Seems hard to believe, given the fact that a lot of climbers have been close. That we haven't had a top on number 1. Everyone's had the zone so far, apart from Kalina Nash of Romania. Remember, plenty more to come, by the way, today. 3 o'clock, we are live. Boulder semi-finals, Youth A women and Junior women. And that will be then the end of the bouldering semi-finals. Three finals to bring you tomorrow, plus 3 speed finals. Yeah, I can hear Paul Jemft getting a lot of shouts, so I guess he's close.
Semenov, Chimnikov pretty close. This is Paul. Really up on the right hand side of this section of triangles, easily up statically with the left hand. That will do nicely.
That'll do nicely, thank you very much.
Yeah, Paul was 6th in the lead World Championship finals, so he's looking to get into the Boulder Championship finals as well. Elliot Barnaby, looks like we're going to see multiple tops now on men's number 4. Tops coming thick and fast on that one. Looks like that method to that top hold is better, just to, as you roll, just go for the double.
And number 2, which I remember saying was the easiest boulder.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I remember saying as well. So boulder numbers 1 and 3 still yet to be topped. Semenov Chimnikov wearing the wrist watch. You don't see that too often, bouldering competitions.
No, we see it a little more in lead, because you're obviously trying to keep an eye on the time without necessarily wanting to look over your shoulder. In boulder, every time you come down to the mats, you can have a look.
Nice little go again, section through that volumes. Just pull straight on. This is better here on boulder number 3. Nobody secured that zone hold. I'm not sure if the judges will be able to give him that, as the beeps go as he's just running out the last few seconds. Brushers walking onto the mats before the climbers barely even finished on the wall.
They're very eager, the brushers here.
Yeah, quick rotations. The next climber, as you can see from France, is already out on that boulder number 3. Xander Waller from America starts his campaign on men's number 1. Xander easily up through that section of smears on the volumes. Just as you're getting that right foot up, taller climbers look so bunched up in that position. Really hard to weight the feet. So much curve in the back. Another American there, Nathaniel Surma, trying something slightly different to that top move, statically rolling it off of the toe hook on the right foot. Doesn't bother his left hand in the crack as well, just has his left hand on the side of the volume. That's easily done. before, conditions on the bottom of the shoes is so important for men's number 1, smearing through those volumes. A few of the guys bringing out their towels now. Louis Bertin struggling on men's number 3, as we've so many of the guys. See the head of that tall brush there, just cranks over. See a couple of guys struggling with those brushes down the front. Actually, they're going in for the extra vigorous brushing, and the brush is not quite withstanding the aggression of the climbers out on the wall. These youth A guys, super strong. Brush is taking their toll. Only a couple of guys got through this swing round the corner, then classic modern move. A couple of brave souls with their shirts off there. Hope they got the sun cream on. It's brutal out there this morning. Actually, there's speed practice going on across the other side of the arena at the same time here as well this morning. So, crowd is a little bit split between the athletes doing the speed practice. You may occasionally be able to hear the beeps, and this Boulder semi-final. Such is the nature of these Youth World Championships, this kind of action always going on. So many categories, 3 disciplines. Absolute organisers were nightmare. They've done a fantastic job so far. This time puts his right foot up first, Xander. Vladimir Zakharov just trying to roll over to that pocket with left hand first. Let's have another really good look at this men's number 3 then. Right hand to that slope, full extension, kick the foot. At the same time try and maintain height and hold the swing on that left hand. Xander Waller showing once again it's relatively straightforward now to get through that lower section of volumes, but that stand-up move at the top is really quite difficult. It's actually Leto Gaveve from Belgium had the Netherlands, excuse me, had really the best effort on that boulder. He was third out. Not seen anybody that close really since that point. Vladimir Zakharov, as you can see, he's just rolling over the left hand for that first move. Doesn't like the option of going up with the right hand. There you can see the scene. Luckily the mats and the climbers are in the shade. Judges just in the shade there. They've got themselves right up by the front of the wall to try and get out of the sun. It's around 30 degrees here at the moment in the sun. Definitely warm enough to warrant a dip in the river for a lot of these athletes. There's a really nice cold river just off to the side of the venue here, so during the rounds or between the rounds you see those guys cooling off, more importantly keeping their fingertips out of the water. No matter how hot you are, can't risk ruining your tips with a bit of swimming. See how Paul gets on this little toe catch release jump. Gevalevin is another climber from Israel going strong here. Let's see how he makes this top move. Looks strong on the crimp. Left foot's just smearing, comes up so close to that edge. Walks away, doesn't look particularly fussed. Looks like we might see another top on men's number 4, and big fall off the top. Second climber we've seen take the ride off the top floor there. Such a fierce move on men's number 2 to that pocket. Shock loading those fingers. Local team just running in, getting the safety pins rearranged there. Paul sticks the jump across now. Not many climbers through to this point on men's number 3. Let's see what he can do. Difficulties don't really ease up from this point though. Paul Jemp's currently in 4th position with 1 top, 2 zones. Just trying to figure out the body position. See how steep that lower panel is. As he hit that zone hold marked bonus, you can just see how bad it is. Yeah, it just looks like on men's number 3 you can get the toe catch jump move done, and the difficulty is certainly not easing off. Ty's unfortunately took a big fall on men's number 4 off the top hold. Is just under 1 minute remaining now. He's doing this move as a little double jump rather than a triple as well. Super fingery men's number 2. Really bad dual texture undercut crimps to start, and then that pocket. I've seen a couple of tops on that boulder now. 3 tops on men's number 2. Oh, you can see just fires off both of those crimps at the same time. Back together, Levin from Israel on number 1. Slightly different hand sequence rolling through to that side pull. Most guys wrapping that right hand on the underside of the volume. Paul Gem, this is much better, cleanly through that body position. That undercut blue volume that's the last available hole before the top, and there's nothing on the underside of that, just the angle change of the volume itself. So got to try and somehow get established up on this undercut volume. Really cryptic sequence, quite hard to figure out what was going on at the top of this move. Just tries to quickly match in on that yellow volume with the thumb catch. Time is running out now.
He's going to run out of time.
Paul Jemp doesn't find a top.
Paul Jempt makes his way off. Our first chance to have a look at Hector Bazan Martin of Spain. His compatriot Alberto Gines Lopez will be next out after him. So it's 2 Spaniards in a row, the 2 Spaniards in this semi-final climb, one after another. Amazing how often that seems to happen. Venga. Says the MC's obviously been climbing in Spain. You hear that shouted a lot. So a very confident start. Same again, able to get into position. Okay, so he's got the move out right there, Luis. Oh, Louison Bertin that we can see. Seen this boulder topped 4 times already. Make that 5. So that is his first top. We've currently got 2 climbers. You have Arieli of Israel and Eric Barnabé of France with 2 tops. They are the only climbers with 2 tops, but all the way down to 6th climbers have got a top. Just that top alone moves Louison into 5th. Sadly for him, with so much the semi-final to go, I don't think... Wow! I am trying to remember if I've ever seen anyone do that. Xander Waller. Just as I was worrying about something as mundane as the score, just one of the most extraordinary hand swaps I think I've ever seen. That was absolutely breathtaking from Xander Waller. Take a bow. So here goes Hector. A lot of that section of mat where the climbers fall from going for the top move is just getting pretty worn down. A lot of people getting through to that, but not finding a way to the top. Be nice to see somebody find a way to get this top move done. The problem is the moves to get there are pretty tricky. Xander Waller, whose hand swap was absolutely breathtaking a couple of minutes ago. Still can't find a way to the top of that boulder. And that will be that in about a minute's time. Hey, hello. Cameraman cleaning his camera just as he gets cut to. Vladimir Zakharov now on number 3. Does look hard, number 3. Just 1 zone claimed on it so far. So Alberto Hines Lopez gets underway. So Alberto, we know from Chamonix World Cup earlier this year, a man not without a bit of scrap, a bit of dog. Could we be about to see a top from Paul Gemft here? Yes, we are. Joins the 2 top club, and he's the first climb with 2 tops and 4 zones. Could be absolutely crucial. Give 11 of Israel trying to. He's going to have to let go of the left hand, yeah, and then bring the toe hook down. No way of doing that boulder without employing a pretty significant amount of oomph. Ooh, he's trying to get the timing right on the move out to number 3. You can see number 4 getting plenty of traffic. Top 6 have had it done, so it looks, unless you can pull something truly spectacular out of the harder earlier boulders, I think you probably need to get number 4 done to make the final.
Ah ouais. Quoi?
So he's got across to the furthest right triangular volume. Now going to try and get stood up, but the top could well beckon. Yes, it does. Nice work. Had to work for that one. Had to persist. Found the method that worked for him. So you can see this move out left on number 3, nicely executed. Semenov-Chinnikov has got himself across the jump, and that'll be frustrating because it took him quite a long time to get to that stage. He's got a little bit of time remaining. Not much though. He's going to get this done. He needs to get it probably done this go. If he falls on the jump, he'll have time for another go, but if he gets across the jump, it'll almost certainly be his last attempt. Might be his last attempt anyway. So that is that. Does not find a way. Thomas Podolán of Austria climbing next. You can see him down there bottom right, just having a look at number 1, Hector Bazin-Martin, Zander Waller and Vladimir Zakharov, the 4 climbers on the wall right now. Later on, by the way, we've got 2 semi-finals running concurrently. It could be fairly busy. I think they're both taking place on this same wall. I don't think the multicoloured traditional Arco wall kind of behind our camera now is being employed. You might, I will double check closer to the time. Could be pretty busy. Anyway, first things first, is Thomas Podolán. So I have to say, looking one of the more solid climbers up till here. Still hugging that volume. Oh, as soon as the right foot missed, your body just starts to peel back. It's a nicely set boulder, but maybe just 1% too hard for this age group. So gets himself in position. This time the right foot lands. But he needs to keep it in place. He also needs to keep the left. Frustration ruling on Boulder number 1. His Hector on the very powerful, no, it's not Hector, sorry, wrong graphic. Xander Waller on the very powerful number 3. Just had a very special guest join us in the commentary box. The average handsomeness of the box has just increased. Eddie's just replaced Mike Langley. Eddie, you've been down the front. You ever seen a hand swap like Xander Waller's? Did you see that?
That was incredible. That was... it didn't help him because he still managed to fluff it after that, but the coordination involved in pulling up and dead pointing from a 2-finger pock with one hand to the other was pretty ridiculous. It's really interesting to watch someone like Xander because he's just so strong and he does absurd things, and sometimes he just misses the easy way like he did right there.
Yes, it was just I'm struggling to remember ever seeing anything like that. It kind of feels like there should be something in the rules where you can just stand up and say, you know what, you can have something for that.
Yeah, that's worth 2 zones. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. 2 zones in 2 attempts. Interesting set of boulders. No one really making much of a dent on number 3.
No, it was interesting to begin with. Some of the early guys were making reasonable progress on number 3, and I thought it had unlocked quite quickly, but then everyone's really stalled out. So whether it's conditions, you know, it is pretty warm here today.
Feels like it's getting warmer as well.
Oh, yeah, believe me. It's definitely warmer than the last couple of days. I think we had really nice conditions with a bit of cloud cover for the last 2 days, and today is going to be a scorcher, which with a lot of semi-finals on is really going to... It's going to make the climbers work. It's also going to make the route setters sweat a bit, not just from the heat, but they have to be confident that what they set will work in the heat.
And one of the interesting boulders is number 1. Alberto Hines Lopez flashed it, but otherwise we have everyone get to the zone as we watch Hamish MacArthur arrive on it. Everyone seems to be getting to the zone, but then that last move's causing all sorts of problems. You had any observations from being up close and personal with it?
Not really. It just seems to be when you get onto those pink crimps and your feet aren't quite where they need to be to move across towards the finish. So a lot of people, they move across really confidently, but as they move, they just go out of balance and then they start to tip away, and the final hold is just not quite good enough to lock them back in. And Alberto was great because he just went 100%, locked it and pulled on it, and it just moved his balance point over the feet, and then he was good.
Speak of the devil, he's one of those climbers. Every time we see him, he seems to put on a great show.
He's absolute star of the future. You know this kid has huge potential. You know, I wouldn't call him the new Ramon Julian purely because he climbs nothing like Ramon Julian, but he is really the next wave of Spanish superstar.
I think we could be about to see a second top from him. We'll confirm the number of attempts. 2 boulders, 2 tops. That is the best start you can have, and nobody else has got number 1 done, so it looks doubly impressive. Let's just keep an eye quickly on Hamish MacArthur. This is the one we were talking about. You just can't seem to get the feet settled.
Yeah, you need to transfer your body a bit out to the right of that hold, and then when you shoot out with the right hand, if you're not really accurate, your torso just starts to rotate around to the left and you just tip out backwards.
That was a flash, by the way, from Alberto. So cracking start to the round from him. And overall, your observations of Arco, it feels like the energy is still up. You wouldn't know. We're on day, 8 of 10?
Day 1 million of shooting in a row. No, I mean, it's Youth Worlds. Youth Worlds always has such a great atmosphere. It's such a positive vibe. It's great to see the things of Youth Worlds that you don't necessarily see on screen, because obviously here we're focusing on the climbing, but the interaction between the athletes, the trading for shirts,
It's a top from Semenov Chinnikov.
that's and he's another one from a climbing dynasty, both parents World Cup winners, of course. But yeah, things like the trading, just going down the main street in Arco, and it's just full of climbers getting gelato, getting pizza, hanging out. Like, it's a great atmosphere. It's why Arco is one of the perfect places for a Youth World Champs, because everyone is staying in the area, everyone is eating in the area, living in the area, you know, everything is local. Sometimes you feel like once you leave the venue, you kind of leave the vibe. So Innsbruck a couple of years ago, amazing venue, but when everyone leaves, they disperse into quite a big city.
Yeah, that's one of the problems, and we've had that. I'm thinking in Guangzhou, 2016. Although I suppose most people are staying at the same hotel, but still the point is the same. You do kind of split up.
Yeah, and the other one that's marvelous, and I believe we're going there again next year, is Moscow. And it's funny because Moscow is a huge city, but you have a hotel on one side, climbing wall in the middle, and then a huge mall with a massive shopping mall, massive food hall, on the other side. So everyone stays in a really centralized area. You walk around, you see all these people in team kit. They're all amped, they're all happy.
Yeah, I believe we might be going there for the European continental competition.
Yeah, in March, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so. It was cold enough in April, so...
I was there in December, and they were telling me how warm it was for that time of year as I trudged through the snow, so...
I guess all things are relative.
I'd rather split the difference and have halfway to those temps today, to be honest.
Yeah, that the thought of a bit of snow is quite appealing right now.
Yeah.
But thank you, thanks for popping over, and it's always good to get your insight, because we're 20, 30 metres away, we can't see the wall. It's good to speak to someone who's just been right down the front, especially a man as knowledgeable as yourself. So thank you for popping over.
Always a pleasure. I'm going to go off, of course, as well as this. We've also got the Youth B Speed qualification is underway as we speak, which is not being shown, but...
No, we've got 3 speed, tomorrow we've got 3 Boulder finals and 3 speed finals to bring you, but as you said, Youth B qualification underway.
Yep, no, it's going to be a busy last couple of days, but then I'm turning into a hermit. So
where are you turning into a hermit?
I'm going to head over to Magic Wood, because there's always bouldering, you know, walking distance from accommodation, and it's some of the best bouldering in the world. It's reasonably alpine, conditions will be perfect, and I can hang out there. And then I think I'm going to European Youth Champs in bouldering in Brixton, and then it all gets busy again, because it goes Cran, China, Insai, and then of course the big one, Toulouse.
Lots to look forward to. Yeah, I know we've been bringing you a lot of climbing in August, but trust me, there is a lot more to come. Eddie, thanks a lot, really appreciate it, and we'll grab a gelato later.
It's a pleasure. We'll talk to you soon.
Always good to hear from Eddie Folk, the IFSC official photographer. And saw a couple of tops there, no doubt. Who the star of this semi-final so far is Alberto Jimenez Lopez. 2 boulders, 2 flashes. This is our first of 4 successive Japanese climbers. We've got 4 climbers into this semi-final, and they all qualified in the top 4 positions. It's Ao Yurakusa, excuse me. First of 4, Hajime Takeda, then Taiga Sakamoto, then Rei Kawamata. The climbers still to come. And Alberto Jimenez Lopez, the man currently setting the pace. There's his compatriot, Hector Bazan Martin. Mike, top's beginning to come in this semi-final, but it's been a bit of a pattern we've seen for much of the week, actually. Tough boulders.
Yeah, tough boulders, but I think the route setters can still sit there relatively relaxed. Obviously, boulder number 3 is the only one who's not had that many tops. But we're getting right down the business end of this semi-final now. We're going to start to see those guys who are going to be pushing for final spots now, I believe, really. Paul Jemp's already, back in the back in the dugout, I was going to say, but that's a football
I think
term.
he's probably down the front eating an ice cream, to be honest. But he's, 2 tops and 4 zones, looking pretty handy. This is Xander Waller, who I would give the tripartite guest spot in the final for that hand swap.
Yeah, I don't think his pulleys are really thanking him for that, but there we are. He's young enough to get away with it. Thomas Boulder having a look at that big rose cross-through move on the pockets. Really a good set of boulders here, actually challenging the climbers in all different ways. Very entertaining to watch. Whole selection of really cool different moves. This is Xander now just trying to finish off his tour with a quick top. Again, he's definitely going for the most spectacular semi-finals. Big drive-by to that top hold. We've seen most guys try and go double hands to that last hold. It helps them get that in a much more secured kind of position. Now Yurakuza also struggling on that really technical stand-up move off this really bad smear left foot and the tiny little jib. He's got to try and get something out of. Hector on boulder number 3. Just struggling a little bit. Xander's just got under a minute left now. What method do we use this time? Exactly the same. Just goes for the roll through method. Dropping the right knee, just losing height as he rolls through to the top move. Thomas Boulder just raging a little bit there. He can't quite get established properly on these pockets, and Hector again, he's back up there. Yeah, Xander, this time takes the full ride onto his back from the top. Felt that one a little bit winded, no doubt. Xander Waller there. That's better this time, the full release of the right hand. Hector, you can hear the beeps in the background. Unfortunately, he does secure his own, which could be quite important on that men's number 3, but he will be out of time. He would have fought. So I'm just hearing incorrect beeps, no clock on the screen. Xander Waller gets it done. Now comes the 5-second beeps. A little bit confusing here with the speed climbing beeps going on in the background as well. So Xander manages to finish his tour with a quick top. He really went into battle mode on that final. Boulder had so many attempts. It'll be interesting once the scores update just to see quite how many attempts he had on that top. Hajime Takeda, Japan then. 4 Japanese climbers in a row, the top 4 climbers on this list. You can see he's got the big beach towel just to try and keep the shoes clean with the foot on this boulder. That's absolutely vital. Especially on that top sequence, easily through to the crimp, the good edge of the right hand to sort of powerfully lifts the feet. Just comes up short on the zone volume, the blue one. Hamish flying towards the end of that sequence. We could see a bit more of Hamish through this men's number 2. Alberto Hines Lopez leading the way in terms of number of tops on 2 boulders already under his belt. He's on the 3rd. Can we see a top on boulder number 3? So we've seen multiple times here at this Arco Youth World Championships that they've always got one boulder that's just right up there as to on the level of whether it's too hard or not, and the route setters have been using that to really gauge the level of the finals as well. Sometimes it's okay in a semi-final round to have a boulder that's not top. It's not ideal from a spectator's point of view, but sometimes the route setters do just have to put one boulder in there just to see where the absolute limit is for these guys. Yeah, 11 now looking for a top to finish. Currently sitting in 8th position. This should put him right up there. Just comes up short, rattles around the edges of that top hold. Alberto Jimenez Lopez then, absolutely awesome on the rope. Let's see what he can make of this undercut blue volume. That is the last hold before the top, and it's a super awkward. Somehow you got to get yourself established on the undercut of that volume. Alberto Jimenez Lopez just committing to that under wrap for his right hand, couldn't get anything out of it. Hamish MacArthur's walking off. Must have been a top for him. Wait for his score to update. Just one top gets you into that top 6 at the moment, along with 2 zones in not too many attempts, in 3 attempts. So it's a really close one, this semi-final. Find a couple of quick tops and you are looking good. Gav 11 trying to find a quick top here as well, and again just rattles all the way around that top slot volume. He's getting there so easily. Did see from Xander Waller, 7 attempts it took him in the end to top that men's number 4. Seems to be quite easy for these guys to get up to that last move now, men's number 4. Number 1 on the other hand only had 1 top as a flash from Alberto Jimenez Lopez. This is him now on men's number 3. Has been through this sequence already. That's that really nice left hand swing move. Just cross palm for the left on that fiberglass volume before getting established up into the zone. Let's see what he makes of this next section then. Again, can't pull up into the undercut volume. This time gets it done. Gav 11. Looks like that last move occasionally takes just a number of goes just to get the luck you need to dial it right into the center of that slot. It's so easy when you're moving fast like that just to stub the fingers on the outside of the blocked volume. Hajime Takeda on men's number 1 still not getting on with that starting position. Alberto Jimenez Lopez walks away from men's number 3 then. No top, still on that border. Hector now on this running jump of men's number 4. More of a stride across the volumes into the sort of triple hand movement than a full running jump. Teiga Sakamoto from Japan now. Can he find a top? Right foot out into the bigger one of the 2 footholds, and just comes up short. That was good though from Teiga. Looks like we found a really quick top there from Hector as well. Blasts off number 4 to finish his tour. Just sort of shrug of the hands like, I don't know what that was all about. It was easy. Men's number 4 is proving to be okay once you get through that triple little catch move at the bottom now, and some of the guys finding that move easy. Thomas Pollan starts his big battles on men's number 3. Long sleeve top in these conditions is a brave move. Super hot out there at the moment, as we've alluded to a few times now. Build number 2, we've not seen this one for a little while. Our Yarakuza has been topped a number of different times now. So we've had 6 tops on this boulder already. This could be 7. Nicely done. Now Yarakuza breezes through boulder number 2. So this competition's really going to come down to zones, or if anybody can top boulder number 1 and 4, 1 and 3. If you find a top on those and you do well on the others, you'll be absolutely laughing towards this final. Paul Gempt is currently leading the way still from France. He was out relatively early. He was out 9th from France with 2 tops and 3 in 3 attempts, 4 zones importantly in 12 attempts. So, like I said, zones could be important here. Alberto Jimenez Lopez is in 2nd place with 1 boulder still to go. People all are guaranteeing themselves positions in the finals here. Teiga Sakamoto then had a really good effort on his first go, managed to get his right foot on that really positive right edge that he's just left down on that lower black volume. So from left foot up he managed to get his right foot all the way out, ignoring the really bad foothold. Can he do anything that? Can he pull on it to get into that top side? Statically goes up. Looks like we got our 2nd top. Really nicely done from Teiga Sakamoto. Really good thinking as well, using that lower right foothold. Must have really good flexibility to be able to use that lower right foot. Japanese are on form, as they have been throughout this championships.
Yeah, there's not much they haven't won a medal in. Thomas Podlan here. Star of many a Youth World Championships past. Now in Youth A. That is time up. Because we can't see the clock, it is slightly confusing when the speed clock beeps away at us. Alberto Jimenez Lopez has the opportunity to all but seal his place in the final with the top here. It has been getting done more than it hasn't. Number 4, Rei Kawamata now. Final climber out in the semi-final. Hamish MacArthur is climbing on number 3. Hajime Takeda is on number 2. And as I said, Alberto Jimenez Lopez out there on number 4. Whoa, I didn't mess about there, Rei Kawamata. Straight out, straight on the top. Job done. No problem at all. Here's Alberto, currently in 2nd. He might well have done enough anyway, to be honest. Zone would probably do it for him, but top sure would be nice. Be the first climber with 3. Could be about to see a top here from Hajime Takeda. Yes, we are. Finds a way on number 2. It's the 8th top of that boulder. I told you it was the easy one. Alberto gets the jump out done this time. Looks like a man on a mission. Hamish MacArthur just flying into the shot from the right there on number 3. Alberto chooses to employ the toe hook. We've seen climbers go pretty dynamically up to the top and makes it work. He is the first climber with 3 tops. That would have been enough for first place just by virtue of him getting the zone, but it gets even better. He finds a top. Hamish MacArthur, meanwhile, is in the hunt here, currently sitting in joint 10th. Zone here, and then a top on number 4 might well be enough, depending on attempts. But really needs to get something off this boulder. So Hamish, this could be crucial if he can just secure the zone. Nice drop knee to get him in position. I think quite wisely he's taking his chalk back. Climbers are on this boulder for a long time. Again, employing the drop knee. He won't realise it, but that zone could make all the difference. Slightly different method now. Could do is seeing if he's secured the zone. Actually, there it is. All right, so Hamish has got the zone. One top of the 3 zones thus far. Now then, could we see a top? We've seen a few climbers get to this stage and not bring it home. He's sadly becomes one of those climbers, but that zone he claimed towards the end of his 5 minutes could be absolutely vital. So boulder number 1 ends up seeing 3 tops, which is nice because I feared it wouldn't be topped at all at one stage. So all the climbers heading off early. Thomas Podlan heads back out now. And because we've got 20 climbers in the semi-final, it's 21, excuse me, it's slightly confusing, but that should be O Yurakusa and Tiger Sakamoto climbing on number 3 and 2 respectively. Thomas Podlan in his first year in Youth A is sadly not going to make the final. 1 top 3 zones required. He's got just the 1 zone so far, so no matter what he does on number 4, it won't be enough. I think 2 tops and 4 zones would almost certainly see you into the final. 2 tops and 3 zones might see you in, depending on attempts. Thomas Podlan looking good here, looking to end his boulder campaign on a high. Oof, and everyone's been going quickly, but not quite that quickly. Our Yurakusa now, chalky up, trying to figure out his plan of action. Trying to get this rotation move done. Tiger Sakamoto, the rose move, as Mike says. A lot of shouting going on. I'm guessing it's for Thomas Podolán, who's over on the left, number 4. That was the beep to signify 1 minute. A lot of beeps ringing around the arena with the speed qualification going on simultaneously. I'm trying to listen out for which one's which.
Come on, Thomas. Come on, Thomas.
Move on number 3 has caused all sorts of problems. This is the start of number 2. Problem is with that move, when you're tired, you just need that outright power, and you just haven't quite got that when fatigue kicks in.
Let's go, Thomas. Yeah, really happy for Thomas Podolán.
So I can hear the MC, but I can't see it. I assume that was a top from Thomas Podolán. Was a top for Thomas Podolán. 6th attempt. Good work.
Yeah, it's good to go battle hard on a boulder like that, and we've seen that boulder number 4 now. It seems to be that you need to have loads and loads of goes at that top move to make it happen. It seems to be a low percentage sort of jump to that top slot, and
yeah,
many of the climbers are really putting battles in on that one.
It's been topped by virtually all the climbers, but only Paul Jemp got its first go. And actually only a couple of climbers got its second go. So, yeah, as you say, Mike, definitely a boulder that needs a bit of work.
There's that really nice. That was a nice angle from. That's not Hector though. There we go. Ray Kawamata. This super stylistic men's number 2. Route setters are particularly pleased with that. I'm sure there'll be a few slow-mo Instagrams going around the route setters pages. Marcin Shoek, the head route setter for this youth category. Jackie Godoffi, the head route setters of the other. Oh, and just easily looked like he was just really struggling at the bottom of the wall here. But Ray Kawamata smashes number 2 out. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he just stood up into that last move. Hamish MacArthur finishes off really nicely. It's going to be close to see how it's going to go for a finals position for Hamish. Good round for him, really. Up into 3rd position at the moment. Should be enough for Hamish. Boulder number 3 then still untopped. Only a handful of climbers have secured the zone. Boulder number 1, excuse me, only topped by Alberto Jimenez Lopez and Ray Kawamata. interesting sticky dots there. We've seen a few of the Japanese athletes with those. I want to check in with the Japanese team to see exactly what they are. Kokoro Fuji and the senior Japanese team has them as well. Guessing it's some sort of like pressure points or something just to keep himself in physical condition. We see all sorts of stuff going on these days on the climbers' bodies. Kinesio tape, strapping. I think guys bringing out fans, liquid chalk, bags, pairs of shoes. A lot of shenanigans on the mat these days. I thought bouldering was supposed to be simple. A pair of shoes and a chalk bag and away you go. Seemingly not anymore. That time he manages to hold the swing only just. Sakamoto then, what can he, Hajime Takeda, can he make of this next section? 6 or so climbers have secured the zone. That's the one marked bonus over on the left. That's the method that we've seen from a couple of climbers. Now just rips off that left hand sloping sloping crimp almost. Just on the left side of the groove there. Nobody got established into the undercut blue volume on top of men's number 3. Two climbers still after Hajime Takeda to find a top on this men's number 3. Two climbers left. Will anybody find a top? Maybe we might be able to find one. This Japanese team, these 4 lads looking really strong here this week. Currently it's Alberto Inez Lopez from Spain leading the way. 2 flashes on the last boulder on his 4th go. So the time is running out now. Men's number 3 still untopped. Let's see what Teiga Sakamoto can make of it. It's just towards the top of men's number 3. Sloping thumb catch. Now Yarakuza is going to move down to the final boulder for his tour. He's currently down in 9th position. Gave 11 from Israel in 6th place at the moment. He's the one, the athlete is in the danger zone at the moment. Any further quick tops and he will be out of the finals. Now Yakuza easily through to the double, doesn't use the little undercut left hand volume at all. It seems to be, that gives you a really good body position. Let's see where he can make of this last move. A couple of guys taking multiple attempts at this top move. Just fires it off first go. Now Yakuza absolutely blasted the final boulder. That does knock Gave 11 unfortunately out of the finals position. Now Yakuza moves straight up into 3rd from slightly lower down in the order. See, that was an absolute demonstration on that last boulder. Him and Paul Schempt are the only 2 climbers so far to flash number 4. And the way that he skipped that lower hold of the 3 was very impressive. Read it as a double, didn't use the 3rd hand hold at all, and that level of route reading in the youth A category is really quite blistering. Ray Kawamata, the final climber, who are going to be out in a minute on boulder number 3. Is the only climber left who can secure all 4 boulders. Taiga Sakamoto at the moment is the penultimate climber on this men's number 3, not getting on with this lower section at all.
Would be great to see someone do it. I feel like we almost have.
Yeah, we haven't seen anybody really standing up onto that undercut blue volume. You can see just above the zone hold there. Quite a number of climbers getting through this jump out around the corner. It's a super cool move to start the boulder. There's a second element of the boulder, this sort of technical, powerful weirdness for the feet. Just doesn't seem to have quite worked at the moment. But one boulder that's really hard. The route setters do tend to put that in as out of the tour of 4, just to kind of see exactly what the hardest level is for these guys in this youth A category before going through into the finals. Number 1 and number 3 really hard here. Doesn't feel like it's the first time that we said this is a hard round this week.
No, far from it. Quite extraordinarily tough.
If you are in the area here, this weekend is fully packed full of action, not just at this Youth World Championships, but the Arco Rockmaster event as well. A lot of the legends in the senior game are going to be coming down to compete in the Arco Rockmaster dual competition, which is a head-to-head on identical routes. Speed lead, it's quite a fascinating event. That's always a good one to come down to. That's nice this time. Hits that left-hand pinch, just holds the swing.
Taiga Sakamoto. Just having a look at his score, he won't have done enough, sadly. Unless he can find something huge.
Yeah, if he finds a quick top here, that would be in the huge department, I would say. It would be the first top of this boulder. Doesn't need it. He's not going to find a top because the buzzer goes.
Yeah, buzzer sounds. Was that Reiko Amata a bit late there?
He probably left his scoring piece of paper behind. We've seen that from a couple of guys. If you leg it out, leg it back out again.
Hajime Takeda's back out.
Reiko Amata, the final climber on men's number 3 then. This is Hajime. It does seem to, if you actually use that lower of those 3 volumes, it does seem to almost put you in a slightly poor body position. Guys have had most success, really made it into a proper jump across the lower ledge volumes and hit it as a double catch. It seems to be a little bit better. Okay, red herring that little undercut volume.
Shooter Tanaka in the background there. He's had a good week. Actually, which of the Japanese team haven't? Not many of them.
Yeah, must be some positive vibes over breakfast for the Japanese team. Here we go then with Reiko Amata. Gets established on the blue zone hold. Let's see what he makes of this top section. Trying to get his right foot out right. We've not seen anybody in that position yet, but that undercut right hand is really bad. Just lose him a little bit there. There he is. That flexibility to get his left foot up. This is looking really good here for Reiko Amata. 2 tops on the board already. The only climber to get established into this position. Could we see the first top? And the only top on men's number 3, Reiko Amata, showing that he is a step above the opposition at the moment. Route setters will be super happy with that. The only top on men's number 3.
Yeah, he could end up with 4 tops as well. In fact, looking at how many people have got number 4 done, I think he probably will end up with 4 tops.
Yeah, 3 tops in just 4 attempts for Ray Kawamata. Topped the boulder that nobody else could in only his second try. The way that the Japanese have been using their footholds and foothold options on this tour has been really interesting. He put his right foot really far out right, and we've seen that on boulder number 1. The guys who've had most success on that have used the slightly unobvious right foothold. And the Japanese team absolutely flying here.
They just seem to be able to churn the talent out. It's quite extraordinary.
Yeah, the depth of talent is quite unbelievable. We've seen a complete Japanese sweep of a podium in the Briançon Lead World Cup in the men's side this year already.
Could be about to see. Oof, did well to hang on to that. Could be about to see another top here. You can go dynamically. You can't completely lob for it, or maybe you can.
That was full gas.
He won't die wondering, will he? That's for sure. Is that Yoshiyuki Ogata again in the Oasis hat?
Yoshiyuki's down the front cheering on his teammates. Is he competing here this week?
No.
He's way too old, surely.
He can't be that old.
20 in the Japanese team, you're ancient really, aren't you, at the moment?
I know, except if you're Akiyo Noguchi, in which case you can be 31 and still beasting everyone. Yeah, they really are a breathtaking organisation.
When we were in Tokyo, I went to one of the local bouldering gyms there, and you can see why they are so good though. So much space dedicated to competition climbing.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's really set up to perform on this style of boulders. All of the latest holds spread everywhere, a real air of everybody cheering on everybody else to get on harder and harder boulders. All of a sudden, for the first time, the mats are empty as boulders 3 and 4 have been topped.
I mean, how often do we see this? It's quite extraordinary, really, isn't it?
Yeah, Hajime Takeda with that top has just dropped himself into the top 6 as well. So you have Areli from Israel also drops out of that finals position, unfortunately. Hamish MacArthur is safe. So is Paul Gempt, Alberto Hines Lopez. Those 3 are going to be going against the 3 Japanese lads, Ray Kawamata, Ao Yarakuza, Hajime Takeda. Excuse me. Teiga Sakamoto then down in 14th position with just 1 top in 3 attempts. More importantly, didn't score a zone on the second boulder, so that's why he's all the way down the list there. He won't be able to make himself, he won't be able to go up into those top 6 places because the maximum he can score is 3 zones, 2 tops.
Yeah, Taiga Sakamoto, one of the climbers we expected a little bit more out of today, as you say, Mike. Not safely through. Sadly, quite a long way from it. It means we do have, by the way, our confirmed finalists. You needed I don't know how route setters do this. You needed 2 tops and 4 zones to get into the final. Anyone with less didn't make it into the final. If you had 2 tops and 3 zones, you finished 7th. So
yeah, good clean cut-off, that's safe to say.
So you needed all 4 zones. It's interesting, isn't it? You needed to kind of make good progress on everything.
Yeah, it's interesting that men's number 3 with that 1 top from Ray. It did come down to foot positioning to get established on that undercut volume, and for a while they was thinking, what the route setter's thinking with this boulder, just can't see how you're going to get established on that. When Ray Kawamata put his right foot out, as to see another top from Teiga Sakamoto, who's obviously already into finals. No,
Yeah, no.
No.
Short of
Short of
finals, yeah.
I'm just used to saying Team Japan already through to the finals. I do apologise. I was just explaining how he couldn't make finals about 2 minutes ago. I was just thinking about footholds and got all a bit carried away.
That's all right, Mike. I mean, I can't really remember life before we started live streaming in Hachioji. I mean,
yeah, it's just one massive climbing competition for the last nearly 4 weeks. Anyway, just how the sequencing has come down to foot placements. A lot of really key sequencing on this set of 4 boulders has been really interesting. There's the majority of the Japanese team, the management down the front furiously making notes. Be really interesting to see. Many people I know would love to see a full detailed feature about the Japanese team, just how on earth they've managed to dominate or become close to dominating the sport along with the Slovenians for quite a few years now.
oh, it's absolutely breathtaking. It's amazing.
They do keep themselves to themselves though, so it seems a little bit secretive as to how they're so good.
Yeah. Yeah, they're always very friendly, but never give you that much concrete information, I think would be fair to say.
We need an insider. That's what we need.
Do need an insider. We need a rat. Need someone to turn on them.
So just waiting for the final rotation now. Crowd still enjoying themselves.
Yeah, someone's having a good time.
It took them ages to set that up. Then he got on screen for 2 seconds. See most of the crowd here just hiding from the sun. Luckily there's one massive tree here in the venue that's just providing just enough. Thank the Lord for the trees. Really hot now, midday here in Arco.
Oh, it is super hot now. That's the scene. Now you can see Ray Kawamata might as well save his energy, to be honest. I suppose countback could be crucial, but the job's done, really, isn't it?
Yeah, superb work from Alberto Hines, Lopez Paul, Jempt and Hamish MacArthur from Great Britain as well.
Yeah, manages to break up the otherwise unrelenting Japanese onslaught. They've done very well. Ray Kawamata's done very well as well. He'll go through into second. He hasn't even attempted the last boulder. As I say, well, I suppose you might. It sounds ridiculous. You might as well do it if you can. It's been seeing plenty of traffic. He might well have looked out the corner of his eye and seen climbers doing it. So he might well know it's been done a few times.
Well, I mean, every day's a school day when it comes to climbing. I mean, there's an opportunity here to increase the number of moves in your move bank. Just go through another set of sequences, hold a few different volumes. Opportunity to learn, as long as you're not completely trashing your skin in the process, should be taken. The subtleties of every movement, just an opportunity to practice another parkour jump across the bottom of the wall. Say, as long as it's not at the expense of your precious fingertip skin, it's all good. I think I would say if he doesn't find the top or can't get through the little triple jump at the moment, it might just knock his confidence going into the final. And sports psychology so crucial as per most top-end sports. He's just using that first right-hand undercut volume. We've seen a couple of guys now just skipping it and just jumping to the pair of volumes, the top left and the far right. Just managing to keep the body a little bit more front on to the wall, just clamping between the two rather than using the undercut volume. The undercut just seems to be twisting the climber slightly, peeling the left shoulder away from the wall. This time Ray gets it done. Does it as the triple. Let's see how he makes it his top sequence.
Oh, no problem for Ray. 4 tops for him. Best climber in the semi-final. It feels like we haven't seen that much of him because every rotation he's ended early. But yeah, definitely the best climber. But I think he'll be pushed close by a couple of the other guys, including, not least of all, Alberto Hines Lopez.
Yeah, Ray goes back and ready for the finals for later. With 4 tops. Only climbing with 4 tops. 9 attempts, just 9 attempts. Only climbing to top boulder number 3. Really good round of boulders there for the route setting team. The ideal semi-finals.
Yeah, I think they'll be pretty happy with that on balance. Got off to a bit of a slow start, but we got there in the end. Ray Kawamata with 4 tops. Alberto Hines Lopez with 3, and then with 2 tops and 4 zones. Paul Gemt, Yurakusa, Hamish MacArthur, who makes another final here in Arco. Hajime Takeda just missing out. Taiga Sakamoto, we said he couldn't make it. He wasn't too far off in the end. And that lower down the lower order. Entertaining start to the day here in Arco. And do join us at 3 o'clock. We will have 2 semi-finals running concurrently. Could be a bit of a squeeze on the wall, but it's our last bouldering semi-final. So do join us at 3 o'clock. To enjoy that, and we'll speak to you in a couple of hours.